Hi, I'm Greg Finn.
And I'm Jess Budd.
Welcome to Marketing O'Clock's Ripped from the Headlines.
A deep dive into what's going on in digital marketing right now.
Today's topic is Facebook's campaign budget optimization migration. Whew.
Mouthful.
This is from February, and we covered it back on episode 56 of our famous Friday show called Facebook Ad Targeting.
That was the name of the episode, not our famous Friday show. Right?
Correct.
That's just Marketing O'Clock.
Absolutely.
So yes. So this was announced back in February, as Greg said, but the big change is happening this coming September, and we're going to dive into it a bit here now just to get you more than ready for that change that's coming.
And a very quick explainer, in case you're wondering just what the heck is Facebook campaign budget optimization. It is a way that Facebook is allowing you to spend your budget more efficiently. And it is moving the budgets from a Facebook ad campaign from the ad sets to the actual campaign, the campaign standpoint. So it's a pretty big change, and it is coming out in September. So that is the change when there will be no more ad set budgets on Facebook.
None. No more.
None. And that was a lot of words I just said there. But unlike the previous ability where you could use these ad sets to our advantage and set budgets and how we wanted things to spend, it's going to be more like Google Ads and be set at the main campaign level. So just think of it like that.
Yeah. And they are taking away the ad set level. I don't know if Greg said it enough times, so I'm going to say it again. They're taking away any ad set budgets on Facebook.
Now, there are still some little tweaks you can have,
Yes.
but Jess is absolutely correct that the ad set budgets are going away, and this may be better for you. It may be worse. We'll have to see how it works out.
Yeah, we'll have to see how it shakes out because right now, Facebook advertisers do have the option to set budgets either at the campaign or the ad set level. So again, like we said with this change, they're forcing you into the campaign level, and there are some other things that go along with it. So since campaign level budgets weren't always available, I think a lot of us that are using Facebook ads and have been for years, we're used to managing spends with ad sets and are probably still doing so. So if you're one of those folks, you need to prepare for the shift. There are going to be some changes. So if you're using ad set budgets now, your campaign's probably not going to work the same in September. It might be better, might be worse, but it's definitely going to be different.
Absolutely. And as we do on our deep dives here, we are going to go through today our 5.5 W's for Facebook's campaign budget optimization migration.
What are the 5.5 W's just for folks that aren't following along?
Oh, it's the who, what, where, why, when, and how. It starts with an H. So it's a half.
An H is half a W, guys. You heard it here first. So, Greg, tell us about the who, the first W.
All right. The who, for who is impacted with this change, is pretty simple. It's everyone. So Facebook is making this change. It's going to affect all advertisers. And again, no more budget set at the ad set level.
All right, so now that we know this applies to everybody, we really need to break down the what. So pay attention, kids. What is campaign budget optimization? Nobody can say it better than Facebook, so here's their explanation straight from their announcement. Campaign budget optimization allows you to be able to set one central campaign budget for all of your ad sets, and it will be automatically and continuously distributed in real time to your top performing ad sets. Again, top performing ad sets. That's an interesting thing to make note of. So we alluded to this before a little bit, but as an option, campaign level budgets and campaign budget optimization have been around for a while. They released it back in November of 2017. And in case you're not using it, again, it's made for advertisers that wanted to spread a single budget across ads more effectively.
And previously, you had to set this at the ad set level, which is why this is such a big change.
Absolutely. So no more of that coming September. Everything's going to be forced to the campaign level. So if you're using this already, as you have been able to, you probably get how it works. But for those of us diehards, I shouldn't say us, and we'll get to that later. But for those of you diehards that are still using ad set budgets and want a little more information on how that distribution works, Facebook offers some words for you. They say that they optimize your campaign budget in real time on an opportunity by opportunity basis. And the goal is to get you the most results possible for the cost of those results that aligns with your bid strategy. So basically, distributing your budget across all of your ad sets to try and get the most conversion actions for your budget. It's pretty simple. I feel like they overcomplicated it with their wording.
Yes. And you will now also be able to see in the main campaigns what type of budget is being used. So if you look at your ads manager now and you hop in, you'll be able to just look right underneath the budget and see how that specific campaign is bidding. If it's at the ad set level for the budget, you can see that now. So if you don't know what you're using, check it out there and you can see. So that is the gist of it, but there's also another layer.
A little more control, maybe?
Debatable.
The look on your face.
Debatable. So you can still set spend limits for each ad set. However, it's not exactly the way that I just said it. It's not as easy as you might think.
Of course it's not.
Okay, so you can have desired, which is a non-guaranteed minimum, or a guaranteed maximum that an ad set can spend within a campaign. Now, when you set ad spend limits at the ad set level, these are for the lifetime of the campaign. They're not daily budgets like they used to be. Jeepers. This is what I first thought when hearing this. So what you can do is you can have your campaign and say this ad set gets $500 lifetime to spend. And this could be dangerous.
Very dangerous. And I want to go on record and say that I think that lifetime budgets are probably completely useless 80% of all scenarios, right? In general.
Yeah, and it seems like it's going backward to where we should be. Where you're now saying, I've got this campaign here and I want this to spend a certain amount, but you have no control by saying it's a lifetime limit.
No.
I don't understand how this is going to be a huge positive. Also, you can say there's a minimum spend, but it's just like a desired thing. You could be like, my overall lifetime budget is $10,000 and I want to spend $5,000 in set one and $5,000 in set two, and who knows what it's going to do.
That's just your desire, because Facebook could end up just spending none of that, right? Because it's not guaranteed.
Right. And to me, the issue is that there should be a better way for this, where you might say, optimize towards what you think is going to be the best, but let's try to land this plane at maybe 75% of the budget in ad set one and 25% of the budget in ad set two, or so on and so forth, where you give Facebook the flexibility of using that machine learning and AI to do better when it thinks you can do better, and not just be like, oh, we're off for the day in this ad set.
Or lifetime. We're off for the rest of your life.
But the lifetime thing just doesn't make sense to me. And if you aren't careful as an advertiser and you put this in as a lifetime limit, one of your headsets might just turn off at some point, and it's on you to keep track of that. So that's why, to me, this doesn't make a ton of sense.
No, it really doesn't. And not that we shouldn't be going in there and checking these things often anyway, but we're busy people, and Facebook's offering a solution that says, hey, we're going to make this easier to manage. And then you could have a little detail like that get overlooked and make things more difficult. But I would like to offer a solution, because we are about solutions here at Marketing O'Clock.
As the Firefest folks once said, we're a solutions company. I think it was. I like that.
Yes, well, we're going to do better than them, because this is something actually that can happen, unlike the Fire Festival. So if you want to control your spend on something, just make it its own campaign. Just don't make, I understand that this might cause, some restructuring to happen and things like that, but instead of worrying about lifetime budgets and going back and checking that, if the budget on a particular set of targeting or an ad set or however you have your stuff broken out is really important to you, just move it to the campaign level, give it its own budget, deal with it that way.
Right. And essentially, this is going to make everything almost more like Google Ads, where you only set the budget at the campaign level. You can break things out within ad groups, or in this case, ad sets. But if you want that granularity, you got to do it at a campaign now. And it's kind of sad. When we did training here, I always liked the part where I could blow people's minds that have never used this before and be like, but at Facebook, you set the budgets at the ad set level. And that's where the power comes from. But now it's just like, yeah, everything's the same.
Yeah, no, not anymore. But I mean, I always like to vote for consistency, so I don't hate that so much. But I get your point. It used to be very, very powerful, and it was something different Facebook offered, and they're taking it away.
Yes. All right. So on to the where.
So where is this?
Jess, this is on Facebook.
What? No way.
All kidding aside, to turn this on, it is at the campaign level. And you can just go in. It's where you set your budget. And you can toggle it on or off to say it is, we are using it. There are going to be some stipulations we're going to talk about in a minute. But in order to turn this on, it's right there in the campaign settings.
Beautiful. And for the when, we keep saying it, it's being forced on the world in September, but it is available now and has been. So it might be a good idea if you're not already using this to start working this way and, just make it part of the way that you set up campaigns going forward, just so that you have the flexibility to maybe migrate one existing campaign at a time and learn the ropes, or just kind of figure out how you want to do it so that it works for you before you're forced into this.
And if you want to get into this now, there are some eligibility requirements, and we're going to run through them all right now.
Yes. First up, all ad sets have to have the same budget type, either lifetime or daily.
There are fewer than 70 ad sets.
That's a crazy campaign. All ad sets have to be published.
All ad sets have the same bid strategy, either lowest cost with bid cap, or target cost.
All of your ad sets have to have the same optimization for ad delivery with the bid strategy, if the bid strategy is at the lowest cost.
All ad sets have to use a standard delivery type.
And all ad sets are scheduled to run ads all of the time. So that's important.
Anything else?
That's it so far, but you never know what they're going to pull out. And also, these are the requirements as of today if you want to turn this on. So we don't really know if that's going to be the way going forward. I mean, what do you think? They haven't said anything.
I don't know. I don't know why you wouldn't be able to use this with accelerated, to be honest. Like, there's value in using accelerated stuff, especially if it's to the right audience. And then what? Accelerated people just aren't going to be able to use this anymore, and you're just going to have a campaign budget, and then it just randomly spends. Is that how it goes? Like, I think that there's going to be some changes where this is applicable for more targeting.
Yeah, there has to be. And not that, Facebook is the same as Google by any means, but they're moving in a Google direction, and Google can totally handle accelerated delivery with budgets at the campaign level. So come on, Facebook.
And you're an ad network. Wouldn't you prefer accelerated spending?
Sounds like more money.
Yeah, sign me up. Let's do that. Optimization, acceleration, more money.
Yeah, I'm with you.
So then the other thing is, it's strange to me. I think at some point they might make it so that you don't have to have every ad set being active. Like, that's kind of weird.
That's crazy.
So that might be another change. But yeah, I mean, common sense is that they're going to adapt this to cater to everybody if it works. So again, I think it's pretty interesting that, it's rolling out now. You can see how it works. But yeah, we'll have to see. We'll have to see how it's changed.
Maybe we come back in 2020 and do this over again and recap what it was and what it is now and how great it's going to be next year once they figure it all out. My wishful thinking.
Okay. And so why would an advertiser use this? The fifth W. Well, Facebook says that it was made to obtain more value from campaigns, spend less time managing campaigns, to simplify your campaign management, to deduplicate audiences. I'm going to get a little bit in depth on this one, where they say if one ad set has a high audience overlap with another, that budget can still be spent in another ad set. And it can also avoid restarting the learning phase. And this is, I'm going to put it in with a caveat, I guess. We'll include it. You can efficiently spend across audiences. So in reality, it will help you potentially not miss conversions and extend the visibility of good ad sets.
Yeah. And that's all the fluffy language from Facebook. But I think the real why, or it's why, right? That we're on. Yeah. The real why is because in September, you're going to have to.
Exactly.
You don't have a choice here, kids. All right, on to the point 5W, or the how, or as we affectionately like to call it, the wow.
The wow.
The wow. So how? There's a little toggle button for budget optimization in your campaign settings, and you just turn it on.
Yes.
It's really hard.
But remember, folks, if you are worried about spending a specific amount, and it's important that you have an ad set, and you want it to spend a certain amount, you don't want to just turn that on.
No.
You want to pull it back out into its own campaign with its own budget and own funds to spend. It's just not going to be there anymore. But yeah, to actually how you turn it on, you flip the little button, and then you sit back and either relax or you panic, whatever you're most comfortable with. But that's how you do it.
I don't know who's most comfortable panicking, but that might be the case. For those of you resisting until the very last moment, if you're the panickers, the how is probably even easier for you because all of the eligible campaigns will just be migrated to campaign level budget optimization in September. But pay attention if this is you, if you are going to wait it out, just pay attention to any announcements or notifications that you might see in your account from Facebook, because as of yet, they haven't really said whether or not they're going to migrate things and then pause, or how they're going to set budgets for you if you don't already have them at the campaign level. So I would assume they're not just going to turn it on with, $7 million or whatever great number, but I don't know. They haven't said. So just pay attention in the coming months. And obviously, if we hear more about it, you will hear from us.
And one note that at least everybody here at Cypress North is sick of me talking about is with any of this machine learning or AI, many times in the ad settings, it will optimize towards what I call the lowest common denominator of a conversion. Mm-hmm. And what I mean by that is if you've got different conversions set up, and you've got one that might be an e-commerce transaction, another one that might be very valuable lead source input. And then you've got a third one that might just be like a standard contact form. Facebook might see these all as being the same value if you don't have them set up properly. Yeah. And so Facebook might say, oh, I'm looking at this ad set that's doing really good, but it might be your own customers that are coming in to ask some customer support questions, not buy things. So just because it says it's optimizing towards the right conversions, not all conversions are created equal. And many times machine learning takes the easiest path with less friction. Mm-hmm. So make sure that this is actually working for you, not just that you're getting more conversions, but that you're getting more value.
Yeah. And look at what those conversions are. And set them up properly, right? That could be a whole other show on that. But if you do it right, and then you set up your campaigns properly and put in your desired conversion action, you should be fine. But to Greg's point, nobody's ever fine if they don't pay attention. So
right. But many people might have put these conversions in there saying, I'm never going to really bid towards conversions. So I'm just going after this. And now they're going to be forced to. So
that's a good point.
Maybe make sure the value is right, or get rid of some of these. If it's just secondary things like video views that don't really move the needle, feel free to rip those out and just go and keep the conversions in there that matter to you. And then use your analytics and use Tag Manager to get it set up the right way to see what is actually, those secondary conversions, let's call them. Okay.
Agree.
So, Jess, have you used this at all yet?
I have, and I like it.
Oh, I didn't think this was coming. All right.
Yeah, I know we've been kind of ripping on it a little bit here, but I like it.
Okay, and for the audience, Jess is usually not one that adopts change the quickest.
That is true.
I know that I had to pull you dragging and screaming into the new Google Ads interface.
You're not wrong.
And usually, so that's why I'm surprised about this. So yeah. I'm interested to hear why.
Well, it's going to make a lot of sense to you, actually, once I talk about it. So, firstly, because I am a creature of habit, right? And I cut my teeth on AdWords back when it was still AdWords, and that's the way my brain works.
Ouch.
Yeah. That's the phrase, right? Did I use that?
You said it right.
I hope I don't actually cut my teeth on anything. But yeah, that's how I learned to structure campaigns and to manage campaigns. And not that anybody should ever assume anything is the same, because different platforms behave differently. And obviously this is a good case for that. But my brain has always been like, yeah, at the campaign level is where I want to manage budgets. So when I saw that this was available, I started using it kind of right away, because to me, it just made more sense. But I did in some cases still use the ad set budgets just because there was that finite control, which I do really like.
Yeah. And to your point, even setting things up from a persona standpoint. If you've got a lot of different personas and a lot of things going on, again, Facebook was cool where you could group some things together, change those budgets at the ad sets. But now, again, across different platforms, you'll have kind of similar campaign themes, let's say. So I think that is a cool point I didn't really think of.
Yeah, just from a management standpoint, it just made things easier for me. And the good news is, since doing that, I've seen good results. I wouldn't say that they're drastically different from where things were before. So hopefully now that they're forcing this on everybody, the technology has improved and everyone will see better results. But my results didn't decrease. I was still getting roughly the same amount of conversions, roughly the same cost per acquisition. Obviously got better over time as I was making my own tweaks. But in general, with the shift, I didn't see a negative from it.
Okay.
Which is good. And obviously, the caveat is, and we talked about this a little bit before, that you still need to pay attention, especially now if it's different than you're used to structuring it before. Just pay attention, just like you would in Google Ads. If something is spending a lot and isn't doing well, or vice versa, pull it out, give it its own budget, create its own campaign.
Cool.
Have you used it, dare I ask?
I've played around a little bit. I don't run nearly as many Facebook campaigns and accounts as you do. So, I like the ad set side of things, and I've just kind of been a little bit lazy on it where, if things have been working fine, it's kind of like, this is doing well, and let's keep it as is.
Why reinvent the wheel?
Right. I know that internally, though, we're migrating everything over. So it'll be interesting to see if conversions increase, and again, the value increases as well.
Yeah. Amen. And we do encourage all of you as well to do the same. Start playing around with this. Even if you're hesitant, it's better to do it now when you still have time to figure it out than being forced into it in September.
Absolutely. And to that point, there may be some really good value that comes out when that switch is made. If people all of a sudden don't have things set up the right way and are spending incorrectly, us advertisers might be making a little extra money in September. That'd be pretty fun.
That's a good point. So get ahead of the curve and get ahead of your competitors, obviously. And if you need help with any of that, if you need some support with all of these changes, you can just hit us up. We're here to help. We're happy to.
Yes, you bet. And if you want to read more about what we discussed or any of those links to our previous shows, head on over to marketingoclock.com and we'll have links to everything we talked about today. And that's it for this episode of Ripped from the Headlines, our deep dive into Facebook's campaign budget optimization migration.
Hashtag.
I'm glad that's the last time I have to say that.
Today, anyway.
But remember, this is our bi-weekly foray into something that caught our eye in the digital marketing world. We'll be back doing the same thing here in 2 weeks from today. And on those alternate Tuesdays, we don't do a deep dive. We talk to industry leaders about their journey into digital marketing.
We sure do. So for all of that, and to subscribe so you don't miss any of it, just head over to marketingoclock.com again, and you'll get more of these Ripped from the Headlines content, industry interviews, and of course, our famous Friday news show, where we surface the most important digital marketing news of the week. So please subscribe, and lots of good content coming for you.
Absolutely. And we will see you next week.